Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Warenberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new here. Today we have a new moon in Scorpio. This is a new moon reading, but if you found this or you're watching it when it is not the new moon, then there is a message in here for you if you felt called to watch this reading. So this is a pick a card tarot. But with this new moon, I really read the cards thinking about like what you want to call into your life. New moons are about new beginnings, new things happening, new energy, all of that. So I read the cards in that way. But of course, take what resonates and leave the rest. As always, it's just a general reading. I have 4 groups for you today. So I've inserted a picture of the 4 cards. So you can pick the group that speaks to you. You can pick based on the number. Based on the card you can see, the picture you can see, or the sound of my voice, group 1, 2, 3, or 4. All the timestamps are below, so when you are ready, I will see you at the reading that you chose. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. So as a reminder, this is a new moon, so I will be reading the cards in a way that is thinking about new energy calling in, focusing on things you can call into your life, what you want to bring into your life. Full moons are more about releasing and letting things go, so this reading is going to be focused on new things you want to call into your life. But again, this is a timeless reading. So if you're watching this when it is not the new moon, then there is a message in here for you. Okay, so group 1, you all pick the group. Every emotion I feel is guidance from my adoring inner being. So really good. So I feel like maybe with this new moon, there can be this message of how can you connect to your emotions more. Maybe, if you're in a place where it's not really cold or horribly cold because it's November, you can go spend some time with flowers, go out with nature, and just remind yourself that, when we have our emotions, just like this card said, every emotion I feel is guidance from my adoring inner being. This is just a reminder that emotions kind of help us when we're feeling disconnected or when we're working through something, or they just give us insight to what's going on inside of us. And so you don't need to be afraid of that or push that away from you or feel like, ashamed if you're feeling a particular emotion. So this card is really just a reminder with this new moon. Maybe you want to set the intention to listen to your emotions, to maybe not look at them with so much judgment. Sometimes we have an emotion and then we just feel embarrassed or ashamed that we have that emotion. So we can't go further past that and really get clear about, okay, well, what is this trying to teach me or show me? So with this card, again, if you can just say that affirmation to yourself and then hopefully open up space for you to non-judgmentally look at what's going on inside of you. Okay, I want to pick one of these cards to start, and then I'll get into your tarot and then your pre-picked oracle cards. But I do want to start with one of these ones just to see if we can get some vibes for the reading. Okay. Diamonds are formed under pressure. So group 1, if you are going through a hard time, if you feel like you've been going through a hard time, just remember that, we're not glorifying struggle or unnecessary suffering, but that is the name of the game in our school sometimes, okay? We do have to live life on life terms sometimes, not on our ego's terms. And so just remember that, when we have these tests or hardships in our life, it's not for us to pass or fail them. It's for us to elevate and to evolve on the soul level. So just remember that things you're going through, if you're feeling pressure, you're feeling this intensity, we are in Scorpio season, so it is very intense energy. But if you're feeling that, it is about, just to remind you, you can get to the other side. And then also, a way that you can move through that is, again, with this energy of, if you can really hold the energy of like, okay, the emotions I have is guidance for me on my path of how I can keep moving and how I can get insight into myself more than like, wow, what's wrong with me that I have so many emotions, right? Okay, so starting with your tarot, 6 of Swords, and then the Empress, and then 4 of Cups in reverse, and then 3 of Pentacles, and then 10 of Wands, 7 of Swords, and 8 of Cups. Okay, group 1. Well, there are some intense things going on here. I feel like you're really in a place of transition in your life. You're really in a place of new things are coming in. You're evaluating what you want, what you don't want. With this new moon energy, we can really think about that. So these 2 cards, I feel like, so we have the 6 of Swords and then the Empress. So I feel like you have said no to something or walked away from something or left something that was disrespectful to your divine feminine, or disrespectful to you feeling like this empowered, amazing, you know, in your energy goddess, regardless of your gender, goddess energy, right? This is like really big, beautiful empress, like you can't touch me, you can't mess with me type of thing. So this is really about like, this is, you had to leave something, say no to something, break up with someone, a pattern, something like this, because it wasn't fitting with you, owning your power, being clear about who you are, and not, not being disrespectful to yourself. There's a lot of things in life, unfortunately, that people can get away with what they can get away with until we don't let them get away with it anymore. So sometimes when we have to leave a situation, it's always so important to decide, okay, even if I really wanted this thing, if you're being disrespected, it's not worth it. Anything that's for you would not ask you to disrespect yourself, devalue yourself, any of all of that. And that is different than like some of the ego deaths and ego attachments we have to go through when we're elevating, when we're talking about, these diamonds being formed under pressure. But, so this is really saying, if you set a boundary, it could be an energetically, you cut something off, physically you move, there was a new situation where you let something go, or you're kind of moving more into, you're raising the bar for yourself. That's really indicated in these cards. And then kind of what's resulted from that is this Four of Cups in reverse of just like, this is refusal to receive. And then this is more of just like, you've opened yourself up to receive something that is a match for you because you said no to something that wasn't good for you, right? A lot of times if we're not really, we don't have open energy, it can be hard for us to receive. And so sometimes when we're leaving something, when we have this process of letting go, we can't realize how much is trying to be gifted to us in this moment because we're so focused on that thing we had to leave. So I feel like this is a process where you left something, you set a boundary, you decided certain things couldn't move forward with you on your journey towards like evolving anymore. And so this energy is really about, now that that's happened, I feel like with this new moon, you're ready to call in some new energy, some new things around that. And you're ready to kind of open yourself up to accepting these blessings that have been brought in for you because you've said no to things that have been unhealthy for you. So in the center of your reading, we do have the Three of Pentacles. This is the theme of your reading. So I feel like this could be a work situation specifically, or maybe, if you have a job that doesn't really feel like you're calling in life, like maybe your side project, or, these things you do on the side, if it's not your full-time job yet, or just kind of like this new energy around something you're called to create or put out into the world or offer to the world. This is really indicated. And then this card's really beautiful because it does remind us that it has to be a team effort. So maybe something you left behind was like someone that didn't match with your work style, or wasn't a good fit for you, or maybe you just got more clear about the boundaries you want to have in your creation, like the things you create in your life. So this is really saying with this new moon, it's time to call in people who can create with you, you can build community with, who are on the same page, who do want to do the same things that you do to offer out into the world. So if you've been, kind of putting those feelers out there, I think with this new moon, you can journal around like, what would they be like? How would they act like? What do you want to create with them? What does it feel like? How are you of service? Any and all of that is kind of what I'm feeling with this energy of just, what you can offer. There are people who came to Earth to be in your soul tribe, your soul group with you to offer this. And so this is kind of, the group you have to be able to do that. And so it is about being intentional and being like, please find me. I'm ready to move forward with this. I'm ready to make it happen. And so this energy is really about knowing that you can create the things you are here to create, and you have to do your own part. Obviously, you have to be responsible for yourself, but you definitely can call in some of these other people who are here to do that with you. So with this new moon, maybe journaling on how do they act? How do they show up? What do you work on together? What do you make? What do you, whatever. And this doesn't just have to be for capitalistic gain. Obviously, if you're an artist, or you just want to get back to your community, or whatever is coming up for you, however this is resonating, just remember that there is a group to support you, to help you kind of tap into that Three of Pentacles abundance of like service and creation, and some of these things we're here to offer. And then the last part of your reading, so these cards all look dramatic. They are dramatic, but don't be afraid. Okay, we're going to talk about it right now. So we have the Ten of Wands, Seven of Swords, and then the Eight of Cups. So these are all about, this one is, you know, tired, carrying a lot of sticks. This one is, you know, this guy only carrying 5 swords when they're 7. And then this one is 8 of cups, kind of walking away. So all of these cards to me speak about discernment. So I feel like a really big message I'm hearing for this group with this new moon is like just getting really, really clear, like maybe whatever thing resonated or came up for you when I was talking about this part, I think you are being called to push it even further, to get even more clear about your boundaries, your limits, what you will say yes to, what you will say no to, or what you want to say no to. Okay, so this is really about just getting even really, really more clear with that. So with this new moon, when you journal around who do you want to call in, what do you want to have happen, and this doesn't have to be career stuff. Again, this is a general reading, so it can't possibly resonate with everyone. But you know, if you're thinking about a romantic relationship, or just your health, or just up-leveling your life in general, this card indicates that it's time to do that. And so all of these are really about, like, with new moon, again, we want to focus on what we do want and new energy, but this is really saying, like, how can I work smarter, not harder? How can I not carry everything? This card is really about, like, choosing, having discernment with what you want to take into the future for yourself, and getting really clear about, like, this is what can work for me and this is what absolutely will not work for me. So this is really about, again, knowing, okay, this is what I can take with me and this is what I can't, and just being unapologetic about that. And then this card is really about, you know, turning away from some of these, some cups is about emotion. So turning away from some of, like, maybe these old drama you used to hook into, or old stories, or old, like, things that just took up so much of your time that you don't need to do anymore. So this is really about, like, what am I going to walk away from? Like, if I, with this new moon, really want to call in new energy of, like, peacefulness and abundance and all that in my life, like, what am I willing to walk away from and leave behind so that I can have that in my life? You know, this is a card that really indicates, you know, when you are, this isn't a full moon, so don't focus too much on letting things go, but instead focusing on, with all of these 3 things, that this is a very clear, loud message, right? If 3 cards are about this, this is really focusing on, okay, if I do have to let all that stuff go, like, use that as energy to tap into, and just kind of take a few deep breaths and think about connecting to that. And then think about, okay, and then if I did all of that, what would I call into my life if I was, you know, working smarter, not harder, you know, getting clear about what has to come, what doesn't come, and tying up, like, loose ends of things in my life that don't really resonate anymore, that don't, like, feel the best for me, or don't feel like they're the thing to help me move forward. Because again, with this new moon, I feel like this is about, and even in this card, you can see it's not really a lot of action. They're just kind of evaluating. So I think with this new moon, you can really use that energy of dreaming big, opening yourself up, of getting clear of, like, you know, there was no limits to thinking about what I wanted to have happen. You know, what would that be? What would I tap into? And then using, you know, we talked about, your opening card was your emotion. So using your emotional process to be a guide for you, instead of just feeling like, you know, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what feels right, what doesn't feel right, what feels abundant, what feels like lack. So using your emotions to kind of push you through what does and doesn't work for you is really the energy I feel with this new moon. And just remembering, like, this is who you want to honor with all this. Okay, you do have this Empress energy in you, but you do need to, I love this card, the image on it, because she's, you know, she's kind of like on a little island. So you do have to cut access to you, and you do have to be very specific about what you will or will not allow into your life if you want these things to come to fruition. So, I mean, pretty intense so far. Group 1, let's see what we got here. Okay, look at this. For your oracle cards, adjustments are required. So again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So 3rd quarter moon, that might be resonant for you, but adjustments are required. So this is saying that, like, you know, as we get clear about the things we want and we don't want in our lives, and we start to make changes, you know, we can figure out the path, but we have to start on the path to figure it out. So maybe this is, like, again, what I really saw in the cards of just, like, you know, you walked away from something, and now even going from, you know, 6 of Swords to 7 of Swords, there is some progression in there, and you are going to have to adjust and be like, well, this was my old boundary, but now I know I want my boundary to be more like this, or because I'm in this certain phase of my life, I want my boundaries to be more like this, or this is the thing I know I can move toward, and this is the thing I know I have to leave behind a little bit more. So this is really just saying that, again, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your limits. It's okay to understand like this particular thing used to work for me, but now it doesn't anymore. And so just remembering, remind yourself adjustments are required. It is normal and natural to kind of do a check-in and reevaluate. And, as you move forward and make different decisions and have new things in your life, you are going to have to, maybe you're trying to do everything at once. You are going to have to put some things down, reevaluate, say yes, say no in certain situations where you hadn't before, in order to keep moving towards what you want. So again, with this new moon, it could just even being like, I know in this one particular area of my life, I need to adjust this particular thing, and then like asking for guidance and support around being able to do that, and how you can do that for yourself. And then what do we have? Okay, then we have Whale and Orca Elder. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. So I think again, with this diving deep energy, this is really what came out even in this first card for group 1 for you guys. Every emotion I feel is guidance from my adoring inner being. So like, this is really saying like, if you are having a lot of emotions, if you are having like, this cup energy that you need to move away from, like there's nothing wrong with that. This is a healthy part of growing. Outgrowing things means you are growing. So it's nothing to be alarmed about, but knowing that, the deeper you go into yourself, the deeper you're going to build your connection with yourself. And then the easier it is going to be for you to be able to move forward and create the life you want and say yes to things, say no to things from experience, because you'll just like build your resilience along the way, because you've learned what like saying yes and no to things doesn't, it doesn't block you from things that are for you. And then share your song. Again, what I was talking about with, just getting really clear about what do you want to honor in your life? What do you want to create? What do you want to have happen for you? And just not being ashamed or, trying to minimize it or feel like, oh, well, I meant that, but not really. Like I was just kind of have kidding, like really, really tap into this like abundance energy of, what is your particular energetic song and frequency that you came on earth to share. And then we have Hather, receptivity. Allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. So this card's really beautiful, and I think it's receptivity on energetic and physical level. So when we're talking about this card, this is what I was saying in terms of being able to receive help, being able to work with a group, being able to, it could just even be guidance around like receiving clarity around what boundaries work for you and what boundaries don't work for you anymore. And just getting, again, clear on like, okay, this is something that does work for me. This is something that doesn't work for me. And not really feeling, if you don't let yourself receive a compliment or help or the intuitive hit, like just imagine how much other stuff you're not letting yourself receive also. So this is really about receptivity is an energy you tap into. It's not receiving specific things. I mean, it is, but if you're not receiving in one area of your life, it's going to be pretty hard for you to feel like you can receive in other areas of your life as well. So just maybe with this new moon, you can ask for help, like, please divine, please higher power, please God, whoever, works for you, whatever language you want to use, please help me to receive. Please help me to see that, this will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. Please help me tap into the flow that is receiving and giving. Please help me do my part because I want to give so much. Please help me to receive so much as well. So that's going on there. And then last card, we have the Angel of Faith. I have faith that goodness and joy are mine now and forever. So I love when this card comes out. I just think it's so cute and peaceful to think about. Just even say to yourself, I have faith that goodness and joy are mine now and forever. So this is what I was talking about in the beginning with, diamonds are formed under pressure of just like a lot of times the human mind and our egos have convinced us that we go through hard things because we're being punished, but it's not a punishment. It's like, again, it's the name of the game on Earth School, and it's also part of, the way our soul can evolve. And I'm not condoning any abuse or any, harmful behaviors. I've lived through them. I know it's so painful to heal that and go through all that stuff. So I'm not condoning it, but I think just a reminder that when you go through some of these things, we also learn like in contrast on Earth. That's another part of being on Earth, is we really learn through these opposing feelings. And so just remember that no matter where you are in this process, whatever's going on for you, faith, I have faith that goodness and joy are mine now and forever. So if you're not having joy, if you can't find, this was like an intense reading, I have to do this, I'm going to learn this about myself. Okay. But if you can't connect to joy and all of that, then you're not living life. It's like anytime you can connect even just small moments of joy, of gratitude, of any and all of that throughout this process is going to be really helpful for you. So again, just, you can say that nice affirmation for yourself. You can write it in your journal. You can say it to yourself. I have faith that goodness and joy are mine now and forever. And then last thing I want to do is just pick one affirmation card to close your reading. So that was kind of a lot, group one. I hope you take some time to take care of yourself and relax a little bit today too, because that was some pretty intense energy came out for you guys. Okay. Unhooking the past. There's nothing to regret when I learn from my past. So again, just what I was talking about, your emotions, especially when you're processing things, this is a lot about letting things go. Maybe if it's been hard for you to release things, just remember, there's nothing to regret when I learned from my past. None of us are perfect. We're all here to learn and keep growing and keep expanding. It's again, part of the human experience. So that's just another nice little affirmation you can say for yourself on this new moon. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful new moon and a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. So just a reminder, this is a new moon reading. So I will be reading the cards in a way that is about calling in new energy, where you can focus putting your energy moving forward to create and call in new things into your life for moving forward. But if you're watching this when it's not the new moon, reminder that there is a message in here for you if you feel called to watch this video. Okay, so group 2, you guys picked the group, My Joy Doesn't Depend Upon the Approval of Others. Wow, amazing. What a really, really nice card to get, especially with new moon and Scorpio. This is big Scorpio energy. Scorpio energy is kind of like, here's my boundaries, here's what's going on for me, this is what I like, the end. So yeah, my joy doesn't depend upon the approval of others. So I feel like with this new moon, you can really think about, how can you give yourself permission to enjoy something in your life that maybe you're waiting for approval from someone else, or maybe you feel like, okay, well, I can't enjoy this thing because of this other particular thing, or if I'm seeking approval, or what, like maybe some little codependency is in there of like, well, I can't be joyous about this because of this thing. So just really taking a moment to think about, what areas in your life do you really feel like you have done the work, you have shown up for yourself, you are entitled to joy, and just really, again, giving yourself permission to be like, okay, my joy does not depend upon the approval of others, and no one does the work for us to heal ourselves, to show up for ourselves, for any of that. So we shouldn't give anyone else the power to take away our joy or make us not feel like we're allowed to be joyful, because multiple things can exist at once. We can be joyful and we can be committed to doing the work, to making the world a better place, to showing up in all these ways we show up all the time, just as part of being on earth. So really good message. So again, for that new moon, so you want to think about how you can give yourself permission to feel that joy, not being dependent on others. Okay, and then I'm going to pick, this card jumped out, so I was going to pick another one of these cards for you guys. So ignite your soul's desire. So wow, again, I feel like permission is kind of the theme we got going on with group 2 right here. So this is the permission around feeling joy, and then permission around igniting your soul's desire. Sometimes we can dream a little smaller, or we kind of feel like we have to water down our dreams, or maybe we feel disconnected from them because they're not practical, or they're not this, or they're not that. But this is really just, we all have intuition and we all have connection to our higher power. So just taking some time with this new moon to maybe just tap into yourself, do some deep breathing, checking in with yourself, meditating, praying, asking for help, asking for guidance, and just really being shown, what is inside my soul that I'm here to do, that is my gift that I can offer to the world, can really, open up that channel for you. And again, give yourself this theme of like permission. Okay, I'm going to start with your tarot cards, and then I will go into your pre-picked oracle cards. Okay, so, oh my God. Oh, let me just tell you, because this is, we have the Queen of Swords, right into the Queen of Pentacles, right into the 10 of Cups. Okay, and then we have the 8 of Pentacles, and then we have the Page of Cups, and then Judgment, and then the 2 of Cups. Okay, so I feel like group 2, you have done a really good job. You've done a lot of work on yourself. You've shown up for yourself. You've been doing a lot of things for yourself, because we have these two queens right here. Really amazing. Queen of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Swords is really about discernment. It's really about boundaries. It's really about knowing, okay, this thing did work for me, but now I'm not going to allow it, or this thing didn't work for me, and now I'm not going to allow it. So this is really someone who has mastered, regardless of your gender, just this queen energy of mastered, really setting boundaries, really saying, this is what is for me, this isn't what is for me. And then the Queen of Pentacles is really about abundance on like physical reality. So really showing up for yourself in physical reality, really just, taking care of your body, taking care of your home, taking care of like a lot of these physical reality things we have to take care of to like feel really abundant and clear on earth. So both of these cards are queens. So it is about mastery. It is about knowing that, you have done a lot of work to show up for yourself. Queen of Swords can be physical boundaries, of course, but it can also be energetic boundaries of just like, I'm not taking on this certain energy anymore. Or I'm not allowing this particular thing in my life anymore. All of that. And then Queen of Pentacles is, again, more physical reality mastery. So like, you pay your bills on time, or you got out of credit card debt, or however it's resonating for you. But just knowing that like, this is someone who, these two queens in a row, just really about like, just kind of doing boring adult grown-up stuff we have to do while we're on earth. That is part of what we have to do here. And these two cards together really are about, again, owning that, knowing it, knowing that that is what is demanded of us from at certain situations. And, that is something that, we do all have to still take responsibility for ourselves, especially in some of these like more mundane task things as we get older. But then look at this card right after that is 10 of Cups. We have emotional fulfillment. So I feel like this is like a lot of practical things you've mastered and taken care of have led you to kind of like, this 10 of Cups, woo, I did it. Like, maybe you reached, you mastered like level 1 of life, right? Like I did this thing, I did that thing, I took care of myself, I reached here, I got to this place, I did all of that. And now 10 of Cups is kind of like emotional fulfillment. It's about, the family and feeling like there's your little house and there's your river and there's your this and it's sunny out and it's so nice. So 10 of Cups is about really feeling, again, emotional fulfillment. And then we can get there when we do this work to have our boundaries, to show up for ourselves, to take care of some of these like earthly things we have to take care of. And so this 10 of Cups energy is really about, really feeling proud of that and emotionally fulfilled and, all of that stuff that's coming forward. And so theme of your reading is the 8 of Pentacles. So I feel like this goes really nice with ignite your soul's desire. So 8 of Pentacles is actually about like continuing to keep working. It's about continuing to, put in the work. This is, we have all of these things accomplished. We have done all of these things. We have all this level of, we have this list of things we've completed in this level of our life. And now I feel like for you, group 2, it's really about, okay, what's the next level of my life? I feel like you've done the work to, master level 1, get these things clear, take care of myself, do this basic stuff. And then I feel some emotional fulfillment around that. And now I'm ready to get to the next level of my life. The next way I'm here to be of service. The next thing I'm here to offer the world, so this is really about how can you expand your energy and your time and yourself to, work on yourself to get to that next level. So I think with this new moon, you can call in permission. Again, group 2, I'm hearing a lot of permission stuff for you, but you can open your energy to like, okay, well, how can I show up for myself? How can I, give myself permission to grow to that next level, even if I don't know what it is yet, even if I don't feel like totally ready to do it, even if I don't feel, whatever story is going on for you. But this is really about, again, knowing that it is time to get to that next level, that next layer, and you can do that by putting in the work and, giving yourself permission and continuing to do some of this maintenance stuff, right? So a lot of times being on earth is a lot of, repetition of a lot of the same tasks, repetition of a lot of, we have like physical body hygiene, we have to take showers, we have to brush our teeth, we have to do all that. And then there's energetic hygiene, right? We need to meditate, we need to pray, we need to, do energy clearings, whatever your specific routine is. And then, we have a lot of these things that we need to keep going and, putting the time and repeating these things to just maintain our hygienic layers in all parts of our life. So this is really saying continuing to do that. And as long as you keep showing up for yourself, you will kind of get to this next layer. And so I think with this new moon, if you have been curious about like what is waiting for you on the other side, or where do you want to go next, or what's the next thing that you can open yourself up to, this really is about continuing to do those things. And then those things will be shown to you, because next we have the Page of Cups. So this is like new energy. It's about a little surprise. See this guy's cup, and then a little fish comes out. So this is about like when you keep just doing each next right action and doing each next right thing, it will be shown to you. When you surrender, you're not attached to, like, oh my God, I hope the next thing, I'm here to do is this particular thing. But as long as you're taking care of yourself, showing up for yourself, just doing X, Y, and Z thing over and over again, this is eventually, kind of what will be shown to you. Each next right thing will be shown to you. And so it's going to be up to you to listen to that and move forward. So I think with this new moon, you can even ask for like, dear source, spirit, higher power, God, whatever language works for you, just say, please show me the next action for me in a way I can understand. Please show me the next right thing to do. Please guide my steps. However you want to word it that feels right for you. But knowing that as long as you keep, doing your part, cleaning your side of the street, keeping that part clean, taking responsibility for yourself, you will get to this other side that is full of like, surprises and things coming forward and just being shown to you in a way that maybe, we're not given everything all at once. Sometimes it comes in little glimpses, because if we knew the whole thing, then what's the point of being alive, right? So we have to move at the pace that things are shown to us. Because then I feel like, ending your reading, we have Judgment into Two of Cups. So I feel like with this Judgment card, this is going to be, it's going to be testing you in terms of, are you ready for this next layer? Are you ready for judgment on your life to get to the next level of things, to get to the next layer of things? So with Judgment, you can really think about like, okay, as I have these new ideas coming forward, as I have these new things being shown to me, and as I am continuing to put on the work to show up for myself and be responsible for myself, this is going to be up to you to use your judgment, use your discernment to be like, okay, is this something that works for me or doesn't work for me based on where I'm trying to go with this new layer of my life? So Judgment is going to be about holding yourself responsible. With this new moon, I think you can really think about, if when I get to the next layer of my life, or this next thing I want to have happening, who do I need to be to show up for that? Who do I need to, how accountable do I need to be? What boundaries do I need to have? Any and all of that is definitely going to serve you and be helpful for you with this Judgment and doing all of that. And then we have Two of Cups closing your reading. So I think this is really about, just this beautiful progression from one cup to two cups, Page to the Two of Cups. This is really about, I think, meeting the parts of you that are yet to be shown to you. So meeting like you from the future, meeting your higher self, meeting the you that you will continue to transform and move into is really going to come through for you with this, and really just honoring like that is someone who you are here to connect to show love to all of that is, again, just going to be really important for you to open yourself up to. And just, you can see with this one, like, it's kind of like, oh yes, we're meeting, here's my hand, like reaching out to you. So this is going to be about meeting yourself where you are right now, and then also about opening yourself up to the future, about, how can you stay open to guidance for yourself? How can you stay open to the next right thing for you? How can you stay open to, any of these other things that might be coming in for you? Is going to be important. So this really is, again, about opening your energy, opening up to that guidance you might receive, opening your energy up to, again, that permission to kind of hear the guidance that is being gifted to you of, this is my path. This is the permission I want to get there. This is the way I want to feel joy and abundance because of all the things I have created in my life and all the things I am going to continue to do and move toward and keep going and growing towards in my life. Okay, then let's look at your oracle cards. Whoa. Okay, so I feel like you and your loved ones are safe, new moon in Cancer. I feel like if you have maybe some self-judgment, or maybe some like, can I kind of loosen the grip on maybe some of these physical reality things and instead maybe focus on, maybe you had to do a lot of like taking care of physical reality stuff, of just like, logistical things, making things are in order. And instead you were really focused on, or you were focused on that. And now this energy is kind of pushing you to be like, okay, well, how can I move to something that's a little more, like how I can be more of service, or how I can do something a little bit different than what I did in my life. Like, you've established stability. And so this is really saying you and your loved ones are safe. And so from that energy, you can really think about, okay, if that's true, and I knew that, then how can I continue to grow and like kind of tap into, these feelings of joy, that you don't need to have approval from others, and your soul's desire that we saw with these two opening cards, of just like, how can you really tap into those two things, and knowing that, safety is there, even if you have to stray away from maybe some of the things you've really connected to recently that maybe did feel more like safety and security and all of that, then this way that, maybe we were thinking about with that. Because with this beautiful card, we do have Sedna, infinite supply. You are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. So same energy. Maybe you felt like you can't kind of take this step towards the next thing you want to go towards in your life, or you have like this budding idea of something that you want to do, but you haven't felt totally comfortable doing that yet, because again, there can be maybe some uncertainty or fearfulness about stepping out into that, and maybe moving away from some of that stability, especially with this Eight of Pentacles, just a lot of that earth energy and things you've tapped into for that. So this can really be about, just reminding yourself you are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows, and that, if you do kind of let go of some of these things that maybe hadn't served you or haven't felt the best for a long time, knowing that you're not going to suddenly get stupid because you're focused on, building something new in your life. Your life isn't suddenly going to get out of control if you don't, if you move on from something or outgrow something that you've been doing that doesn't really feel like, the best thing for you right now. So this really is about, again, just knowing you are connected to infinite supply. There is unlimited abundance and energy for us to tap into. And again, even if you detour off of it, even if it doesn't look like it's in the form we think it should be in, doesn't mean it's not there. So remembering that. And then, this is just I feel like for some reason, group 2, if there's a lot of unease or not feeling safe because you're trying to do something new or go into maybe new territory with this idea, or maybe it's somewhere that, you haven't explored yet, you don't feel super confident in, this is really saying, those two cards. And then this card also is really about like, you are safe and protected, and you can go at the pace that works for you. You can do the thing in the right way that feels good for you, the right order that feels good for you. You don't have to abandon all logic and reason just as you're starting off on this new path or this new way of doing something. So if you've been feeling not safe or uneasy about how to move forward, or like break into a new field or a new boundary or a new, relationship, again, however it resonates for you, those two cards, and then this card, which I'll tell you in 1 second, are really saying you are taken care of. So with this new moon, you can kind of just ask and pray or journal or think about, how can I feel safer? How can I feel more secure? Where's the evidence in my life of the ways I've done the work to show up for myself, to have the things I've created for myself, to feel safe, to feel, these are the ways I know I have shown up for myself. So how can I tap into that? Because this card also, Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. So again, a lot of stepping out into the unknown and igniting our soul's desire is about having like faith in that higher power and that divine intelligence and that divine energy that exists out there, instead of feeling really like, we're not doing it on our own. So this is saying, if you have spirit guides you work with, or angels that you pray to, or your higher power, of course, tap into that energy, and really just with this new moon, give yourself permission to, part of joy, we can only feel joy when we feel safe and cared for. So part of what you can tap into with that first card of not needing permission to feel joy is, feeling safe. Like, I'm safe enough to feel joy. I'm allowed to feel joy. I'm allowed to know that I can feel that certain thing, and trust that I will and have been showing up for myself and will continue to do so. And then the last card, we have the Angel Prince of the West. So I create the reality around me with thoughts of pure love and goodness. So this is, again, really just affirming that if you have been feeling doubtful or unsure, or like, how do I move forward into this? How can I meet this next part of myself, this next layer of my life? Just remember that You can call on support from your higher power, from, you know, the angels, especially because this is an angelic card, to just really feel taken care of and safe, and, you know, just tapping into peace. Peace is an inside job, no matter what's going on around us. And it's not the absence of difficulties. It's our ability to stay connected to knowing we are, you know, divinely guided and protected at all times, despite what's going on outside of us. Okay, and then last thing, I just want to close with one more affirmation for this new moon. So for group 2, let's see what affirmation we have for you. Welcoming surrender. There is no problem, only destiny being revealed. So if that doesn't summarize what this whole reading was about, I don't know what will. So just remember, again, you know, if it's in the way, it is the way. You are doing the right things for yourself. There's no problem, only destiny being revealed. So sometimes we think, well, I've been alive for this long, I've gone through this many things, so the path should be crystal clear, straight line, this is what I'm doing. But oftentimes that is not the case. We still are here to learn and grow on the soul level. So just be kind to yourself, give yourself permission to feel joy as you're figuring out, and not need to rush through all this. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much. Happy new moon, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So as a reminder, this is a new moon, so I will be reading the cards in that way about what energy you can call in, what things you can focus on bringing into your life and creating from that place. If it's not the new moon when you're watching this, there is still a message in here for you if you felt called to watch this video. So as always, take what resonates and leave the rest. And then for group 3, you guys picked the group, I can always reach for a thought that feels better. So this is really beautiful. A lot of times, you know, we're not talking about toxic positivity here, you know, which is where, like, if you're going through hell and people are like, just be grateful for what you have, right? That's not what we're talking about here. We're not negating, you know, there are definitely painful parts of the human experience, but this is, you know, I can always reach for a thought that feels better. So maybe if you are in a place that doesn't feel good right now, a thought that feels better can just be like, I don't need to judge myself right now, or I'm doing the best I can, right? That can be better than like, why is this happening to me? Oh my God, I can't believe this. Can't believe I have to deal with this. This is such BS, blah, 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 right? So a better reaching thought can just be one that kind of like gives you relief, where you let up on the judgment of yourself, where you, you know, maybe aren't judging so hard with that. So again, you can reach for a thought that feels better. It doesn't mean, you know, sometimes with affirmation work too, people want to convince us to reach, like if we're here, they want us to reach all the way over here, which again, also doesn't work. So you want to, you know, it could just be a thought of relief. It could just be, you know, you don't want to deny reality. You don't want to deny what you're feeling, but there can be an opportunity for you to connect to some compassion, some love, some self-acceptance. So maybe if there's a story going on in your life, part of you needed to hear this if you pick group 3. So if there's a story going on in your life of like, you know, okay, well, this could only work out for me if this changed or if this happened, or just trying to think if there's an area of your life you can give yourself a little bit more compassion and understanding and self-acceptance about, is, you know, kind of what this card is hinting at. And then I just love the imagery of the sun and the moon here. Just, you know, nothing lasts forever, things change. You know, we need contrast. We have the light and the dark. We have day and night. We have, you know, all of this to just part of the human experience going on for us. So again, you know, remind yourself you can reach for, you know, a better reaching thought. And that is such a powerful decision because it opens you up to then, you know, if you let go of some of the shame and self-judgment and like attacking of the self, that opens you up to so much more possibility and things that could happen for you that maybe, you know, you didn't know were possible before. Okay, and then so what I want to do today is just pick one of these oracle cards to see maybe kind of what vibes we got going on today. So for group 3, let's see, which card do we have for you? Becoming magnetic. Okay, so this is, look, there's a sun and a moon on here too. So again, if you are in a time of transition or a time where maybe you've been going through a hard time where you don't feel the best, this really is about, again, nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass, all that happens. And then becoming magnetic just means, we have to purge a lot of things that don't serve us. And a lot of times that can be painful, and it can be a process that maybe we might not willingly choose for ourselves, but what's on the other side, the outcome on the other side of it is worth it. It does help us feel abundant, clear, and connected to ourselves. And that is part of, the process of getting ourselves out there, for becoming magnetic and just becoming like, magnetic. Sometimes that word doesn't feel the best because of the way it's been monopolized and messed up because of like mainstream law of attraction conversations that have happened. But magnetic can mean, just really being still and being powerful and focusing on things like being attracted to you instead of you having to run out and go find it and get it and do all this work, which is like not, we're meant to have ease for things that are for us. So, but yeah, a beautiful moon and sun on this card too. So if you're in the place where things, you feel like things are never going to change or transition, that is also some energy. Good reminder that it is happening. Okay, so for your reading, I'm going to read your tarot, and then I'll do your pre-pulled oracle cards after that. So opening your reading, we have the Ace of Wands, and then we have the Magician. Then we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Then we have the Eight of Wands. Then we have the Moon. Then we have the Star. Man. Group 3, what is going? You end with 3 major arcanas, and you also have the Magician in there too. So, okay, I just got a lot of information. So, I feel like if you are in the middle of a big transformation, you're in the middle of coming out the other side, you're in the middle of like, again, alchemizing something that might have been really, really hard and really, really painful and really, really like a bunch of BS and like, wow, why did I have to go through this? And sometimes we're not in the place to hear that when we're in the middle of our big transformation. So if this is not something you want to hear right now, I totally get it. But if this is resonating for you, then stay on, because there is a lot of energy here about like, coming through the other side, even when it's not a path that we would have chosen for ourselves to learn from. So look at these two cards, Ace of Wands and the Magician. This is basically, again, same energy right in a row. You see the Magician has the candle, the wand. I call it a candle, but it's like a wand. Looks like a candle to me up there. And then the Ace of Wands. So this is really about like very, very, very similar energy and imagery on here of just like a fresh start, new action coming in. Wands is about like new energy coming in, new things happening. And then Magician is about your ability to choose how you're showing up despite what things you don't have control over. So this is really saying, a lot of times if we're really focused on, I want things to go this particular way, it has to be this specific way, this specific thing, this whatever, we can focus on that. But sometimes, if we get too attached to that, we forget where we have power in another part of our lives. So maybe something doesn't go how we want, but we still have the choice to, for example, reach for a better feeling thought, or we have the choice for how much do I want to engage in this, or how much do I want to show up for this, or, so this is really saying if you have been in a circumstance or kind of working through a situation where it's like, damn, the hits just keep coming, I do not know what is going on, I don't know how to get through this. This is really saying, what is at your power right now? Is it just the way you can be compassionate to yourself? Is it just the way that you can show up for yourself? Is this the way that you can just think about the situation? Is it like not thinking about the situation anymore, right? So what are some ways you can have your power and have your energy when it feels like you don't have any at all? Which sometimes, when life comes at you fast, sometimes that's what it can feel like. And, we're not going to pretend like that doesn't happen on earth, because it does. Because then we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. So I feel like maybe something happened that, this is obviously a very abundant card, very like, hey, I know what's going on, I'm on earth, all this stuff. So this is kind of like maybe something you felt connected to on earth, maybe like a relationship, a job, an income, a home, something in physical reality got shifted, or like, kind of took a hit, or maybe you're being challenged on. And so it could just be, you created that situation, or you were feeling really good about it, and then boom, nope, see ya. It's not actually what you thought it was. It's not this thing you thought it was. It's not, the stable thing. Sometimes we can get tricked into thinking something is stability for us when it's not. The earth, things on earth just change so much, no matter how we're showing up or what we're doing. And so this could be just saying like, what did you have to let go of recently to in your life, even if it wasn't by your choice. And just remember, God only blocks something from us or takes something away from us if it's not for us. And again, when we're in that feeling of like, oh my God, I'm processing this, I have to let this go, I have to whatever. I know it can be, again, hard to hear that, but just a reminder, if you can tell yourself that now when you're feeling uncertain, that can be a good reminder. But I have to say, with this Eight of Wands in the middle, and then the Moon, the Star, and the Man, this is whatever instability or whatever thing has come out for you that you've lost is for your highest good, because there is so much abundant, powerful energy at the second half of your reading. And also this Eight of Wands, this is about a lot of action happening quickly, making things happen, new energy coming in, new things coming in, new. A lot of new things are coming towards you with this new moon. So I feel like, whatever you feel like was taken away from you, or that you feel like hasn't happened for you yet, that you've been maybe putting the work in, you feel annoyed, like, where is it? What's going on? With this new moon, you can really ask, like, there's a lot of energy waiting to just kind of like push into you. And some things we don't get until, we don't get anything until the moment we're ready, but some things we don't get until, we realize certain things, or we accept certain things, or any of that. So I think with this new moon, you can just say, like, what are 8 things that you want right now? What are 8 things that you want to have this new energy with coming into your life right now? It's not to be 8, but, it just may be symbolic because this is the Eight of Wands. What are things you want to have come into your life right now that you are like, okay, this would be amazing. This would feel really good for me. This is something that, I'd really like. And it doesn't have to be physical things. It could be, I want more peace. I want more stability. I want to feel like secure within myself. Just think about new. Don't limit yourself with that. This is about new energy coming in, and again, really being taken care of in that way, because you can't make this up. Look at these 3 major arcanas at the end. So you have the Moon, the Star, and the Hanged Man. So really, on the other side of whatever process you're going through, group 3, this is really, really, really powerful energy, and really, really powerful, like, the other side is worth it, right? Even if you feel like, oh, I've been working on this for so long, or I've been doing this thing for so long, it's like the other side is worth it. And what you learn along the way to get to the other side is also worth it. So we have the Moon, which is about things going on underneath the surface. So this is really that energy of, like, there, even when you don't know what's going on, it is for your highest good. And like I said before, God doesn't push us out of something or block us from something or derail us from something unless it's for our highest good. So this is, with this new moon, can you ask yourself to tap into like that trust, that faith that things are working out for your highest good, that, this is not punishment. These are things that are happening for you. And then that Star is like, can you replenish yourself? Can you focus on taking care of yourself? Can you find more balance in yourself? Can you, there's water on here, so maybe taking a bath might be something that would feel good for you. Or, can you take care of yourself in ways that, like, again, reach for the higher thought. Can you just, or a better feeling thought, like, can you just take care of yourself? Can you just offer yourself some kindness, some compassion, some self-acceptance, some self-soothing? I look at this card as really about like really being soothing and gentle to yourself. So can you, read a book that you like for 20 minutes a day? Can you, any of that stuff is just going to be really important for you to tap into that energy of just like taking care of the self, instead of feeling like, oh my God, like totally, like, can you nourish yourself while you're waiting? And then the Hanged Man is about like energy of like, this is like, stop playing yourself, right? The Hanged Man is about like, you're hung upside down, but you still have this glow of awareness around you, and you still have the ability to unhang yourself. You have the ability to like, it's just kind of like when you realize, wow, I've been doing this thing and it hasn't been serving me at all, and it's actually not important for me to continue doing that thing. And so this is a way that I'm going to, stop playing myself and just like thank God that I was shown this is a way. I was like, it could even be like, I put my energy and my stability into this temporary thing. And so now I know, like, I can be grateful for things in physical reality, but what is actually my source of abundance is my connection to myself and my connection to my higher power, with that energy. So again, I feel like, how you handle yourself through this process is teaching you just as much as the things, that you're waiting for. Group 3. So really just, that moon energy, trust something is going on, even if you can't see it. The Star, how can you nourish yourself, soothe yourself, be kind to yourself? And then Hangman, how can you continue to take responsibility for yourself and just be like, okay, this is the way that, I wasn't showing up for myself in the best way. And now I'm going to now, even if I couldn't before. Okay. And then with your oracle cards. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so your commitment is being tested. So if you're new to my channel, I don't pick my cards. I pick them in advance, but I don't like go through and pick them. So your commitment is being tested. So this is what I'm talking about. So a lot of times people say like, oh, God's testing me. They think it means like, oh, God's testing me, AKA God's punishing me. That's not what it means. We get tested to be like, okay, is your money really where your mouth is? Is your actions really aligned with what you're saying? Like, do you really have the self-discipline to move through this thing? So if you've been going through a hard time, this is like, again, your faith being tested. This is your ability to feel stronger and deeper in yourself is being tested. And it's not, again, to punish you. Tests are given to us on earth so we can evolve on the soul level. If we didn't have to evolve at all, we wouldn't have to come to earth, right? Earth is so dense and so intense and so hard. And, I'm just laughing because I've lived through the fire too, but when you get to the other side, it's really worth it. And so this is really, your commitment is being tested. It's really about like, are you ready to, you could be someone who's like, oh yes, I have faith. But then when it's time to have faith, you're like, wow, do I have faith? So this could be, what your commitments are. We really can understand something on the soul or on the mind, but to embody it on the soul level, a lot of times we have to go through things we wouldn't necessarily choose for ourselves to like really embody it with that. And so from there, we also have the goddess Diana, focused intention. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target, and you will make your mark. So again, if your commitment is being tested, this is really saying, don't be distracted by the things that have gone or the ways you've been tested before, the things that maybe you feel like have been taken from you. This is really this energy I was talking about of just like you have the ability to have the better feeling thought, have the better feeling action. We always have so much more power than we think we have. And so just really getting clear with this new moon, you can write again, what do I want to feel? How do I want to be? How do I want to create stability in my life? How do I want to tap into that awareness, abundance within myself in a new way I haven't before? So really tapping into that Diana goddess energy could be helpful for you. And then at the same time, which one am I going to start with? I think we'll do this one. Okay, so the angel of eternal love. As I let love in, it stays in my soul forever. So this one is just, again, reminding you that no matter what was taken away from you or what hardship you went through or whatever thing, like that kind of took you off guard with all of this, it's like you can never lose yourself. Okay. Even if it feels like all this stuff that you thought was connected to your identity is taken away from you or isn't in your life anymore, any of that, as long as you don't lose yourself and you remember you can't lose yourself, you can get through anything. Now, again, we're not like spiritually bypassing something is painful and the human experience of like doing the work for yourself to show up and move through that. Like that's definitely part of it. But this is really saying, you cannot lose yourself and you cannot lose your connection to God unless you intentionally don't do it anymore. Okay. So as I let love in, it stays in my soul forever. So just remember, anything that has happened to you, any work you've done for yourself, any times you've shown up for yourself, none of that can be taken away from you, no matter what's going on in physical reality. So just tap into that, tap into your connection with your higher power, connection with yourself, and remember that. And then this is really beautiful. We have earth pulsing, pulse of the mother, slow down, time in nature. So this is really big reiteration of the star energy. You can see there's like a water flowing on both of these cards. So I think, as you are transitioning through this, we can be so hard on our bodies and we can demand that they, okay, we'll keep going. We got to get through this. We got to get to the next thing. We got to do this, right? So if you can take some time to, if you're not somewhere where it's really cold because it's November, or if you don't mind the cold, amazing, go outside, slow down, just really, really nurture yourself, really pour into yourself, really just breathe, really give your body the time and space it needs to kind of process a lot of change. Sometimes with our instant culture now, we think like, okay, well, this has changed, so I'm going to do this, so I'm going to do that, so I'm going to do that. But we don't give ourselves the proper space to really grieve something or let something go, or just know this is a season where I need to be a little more slower and intentional. And so this card is really just reminding us, just slow down, do things slowly, do things more mindfully. You don't have to be rushing all the time. making sure you have limits so your body can kind of process things so you are ready and able to, get to the other side of what's waiting for you there. Okay, and then last thing I want to do for this new moon is I just want to pick one of these affirmation cards for every group. So group 3, this one fell out, so let's see what we got. Liberating love. I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. So this is really nice, and just one nice little affirmation of this, this is kind of the angel of eternal love card that we saw of, you, I'm sure, as someone who's willing to, you're watching a YouTube video about tarot, you're willing to do the work to show up for yourself. Don't forget to let yourself receive some care, some tenderness with this star and with this earth pulsing card. Just showing up for yourself, being kind to yourself, reaching for the kinder thought to yourself, the thought that feels better. So I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. So if you would give other people care, understanding, and compassion, give yourself permission to do that for you now. And that's, ways we can get through a lot of hardship in life, is if we're just a little more kinder and compassionate and patient with ourselves. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much. Happy new moon, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 4. So reminder, today is a new moon, so we are going to be looking at the cards. Well, I'm going to be looking at the cards in a way that is new moon, calling in new energy, ways you can focus on creating the new and things you want to have in your life instead of, kind of releasing. There's obviously some part of that because we can't call in without releasing, but the main focus will be reading them in ways of calling things in new for you. Now, if you're watching this when it is not the new moon, this is a timeless reading. So just take, if you feel called to pick this group, watch this video. There can be a message in here for you. Okay, so group 4, you guys pick the card. It is contrast, puts the eternalness in eternity. So this card is, one of the spiritual laws on earth is the law of contrast. And, we do learn a lot by contrast. It's like we think we know what we want, and then we can fine tune it once we have some experiences that maybe don't feel the best for us. So one example that's on this card is there's snow on this card. I'm someone that hates the cold so much, like do not want to be in it at all. So this card is really about, maybe I wouldn't appreciate, I always appreciate when it's warm out and sunshine, but maybe I appreciate it even more because I have a contrasting experience of growing up in a place where there's a lot of snow, where winters are really long, and I just don't like it at all. So we have a desire or an intention or a thought, and then it gets fine-tuned when we have, okay, this is an experience that adds to that, kind of like, okay, I want to keep doing this. This is what feels good to me. And then when we have experiences that are like a little different, or, are just like, wow, I want this even more in that direction, right? So sometimes when something happens that is really contrasting or doesn't feel exactly the same as the initial desire, that can push us even into more clarity. And so that's what this card is really saying. So it is contrast that puts the eternalness in eternity. And again, like if you believe, in expansiveness, we know that our science has proven that our universe is one that is constantly expanding. And so we can continue to expand within ourselves as microcosms of the universe as we continue to stay open to some of these contrasting thoughts, because it gives us more information to be like, okay, no, this is how I want to expand. This is what feels better for me than, maybe this or this thing that I thought I was really connected to. So with this new moon, maybe you can say, okay, well, what are some contrasting experiences I had in my life that didn't feel the best, and how can I put them into like this new energy for myself? How can I put them into this new, like more clarity around my desire and what I want to have happen for myself. Okay, and then so I'm going to start with picking one of these cards, and then I'll do your tarot, and then your pre-picked oracle cards. So let's see group 4, what message from this deck wants to come out for you. Create your own story. Beautiful. So I feel like this really goes along with what we're talking about here with this contrast. Sometimes we can go through a, negative or unideal experience. Like, so the example of me with snow, for example, could be like, I could just stay in the place of, wow, I hate snow so much. I never want to be near it ever again, which is like true, but I can use that to be like, okay, the story I want to tell myself is, Thank you, God, for making it crystal clear that I do not want to live in the snow anymore. And so I can put even more of my focus on spending time in the sun, being grateful for when I get to do that, for the awareness to know that that is part of what's something that feels good for me. So this is really about, taking the things that happen to you and using them in a way that you can for your highest good. And also creating your own story means knowing what to ignore. So maybe you had an experience of contrast that didn't feel good. Guess what? You never have to think about it again if you don't want to. It doesn't have to be part of your story. It doesn't have to be part of anything if you do not want it to be. Okay, so create your own story can really be about, taking things that happen, and then you get to choose which things stick around and which things leave for you to be able to open your energy as you continue to expand. Okay, so your tarot. So opening, we have 5 of Cups. And then we have the Hermit. Then we have the Queen of Wands. And the King of Cups, 2 of Swords, Justice, and the 9 of Cups. Okay, so group 4, I feel like there was some loss and you had to kind of do some soul searching. Okay, so there was this 5 of Cups energy, and then the Hermit is internal. So maybe something that we do have new moon in Scorpio, if you're watching this on the new moon in Scorpio. So we had the full moon in Scorpio about 6 months ago. So maybe something in the last 6 months has happened that you had to kind of let go or release, or just had to come to terms with. And then that pushed you to kind of like go inward, to do some reflecting, do some thinking about yourself. This could be that contrasting experience we were talking about in the beginning, like something that, again, maybe doesn't feel totally ideal or what you want to have happen for yourself, but it could be something that is coming out for you of just like, okay, this is experience that didn't feel the best, and now I'm kind of going inward. What can I learn from this? What was the point of this? Kind of embracing it and doing a lot of that. And then because that's more, I feel like, around like the full moon Scorpio energy, because full moons are about like releasing. So about 6 months ago, maybe checking in, thinking, what was going on for my life then? What was I releasing? What was I working through? What was something I was just trying to like integrate into my my story, creating my own story for myself. Because once we move past that, we have the Queen of Wands right into the King of Cups. So regardless of your gender, my readings are not gender specific. It's just Queen energy and King energy. So regardless of your gender, this is just about, I feel like that helped you push you into like some of this balance of, Queen is divine feminine energy and King is divine masculine energy. And again, regardless of your gender, we all have masculine and feminine energy inside of us that we need to have balanced out, and we need to honor both of those energies in us. And so this could maybe really be something where you realize like, oh, maybe I was being so masculine in my energy. Like I was trying to do so much stuff when I needed to be more feminine, or I was being too feminine, like too passive, and I needed to like go forward and do those types of things. Because we can see this isn't the same suit, it's Wands and a Cups, but this is about, it is mastery. There's a Queen and a King here. There are things that are working for both sides of the story for yourself here. And so I feel like because the King of Cups is the center of your reading, is the theme of your reading, maybe the Queen energy you mastered that a little bit sooner. So maybe you were able to kind of master some of that feminine energy. And then the King of Cups is actually really beautiful because it's Cups is about emotion, a lot of love, a lot of emotional energy here. And you can see in the background, like the sea is so wild that fish is like jumping out of the water. There's a boat kind of on the stormy sea back there. So this King of Cups is able to hold that peace and hold that energy, even with all that chaos going on outside of him. So I feel like this is really about, with this new moon, the energy I'm getting for you, group 4, is about, how can I create peace in my life despite these contrasting experiences or things I don't really feel comfortable that are happening, or I wish wasn't happening, right? We all have to be, in life on life's terms, even if it's not what we choose for ourselves. It's just how it is on earth. And so this is about, how can you tap into that inner peace despite some of this insane energy around us, despite some of these contrasting experiences, despite some of these things that maybe don't feel the best for us, that's going on for you. So I feel like with this group, again, creating your own story with this new moon, I feel like if there's a story you've been telling yourself that hasn't been feeling the best, or hasn't been feeling like, okay, how could that be for my highest good, right? With this new moon, maybe you take some time to rewrite that into like a loving kindness to yourself. So sometimes it's not about a different situation or, quote unquote, seeing the good in it if you don't see the good in it right now. But it can be about just being like, how can I be more compassionate? King of Cups is also about emotional intelligence. So how can I be more loving to myself? How can I be more kind to myself? How can I be more, understanding of, even if I'm going through a situation, the story I can tell myself is, well, I went through this really hard time, but I chose to be very compassionate, kind, loving to myself despite all of that, right? So maybe that's just a lesson for you. But this King of Cups is your theme, is really about emotional mastery, using, evolving the soul to feel peace despite some of these external circumstances. Because look at these two cards, we have the Two of Swords and Two of Justice. You do have a choice here. You might not have a choice over things you can't control. Sometimes people think, if we go through a hard time, it can be really easy to be like, I don't have a choice because look at what's happening to me. Or, despite all these external circumstances, I still had to do this particular thing I wouldn't have picked for myself. But Two of Swords is about knowing you have a choice and not giving your power away. And so again, the story you can tell yourself, the choice you can tell yourself, even with this contrasting experience, this experience that doesn't feel good, can be like, I'm still in control of the way I talk about myself. I think about myself. Like, I still get to show up and respect myself despite whatever is going on in physical reality, right? So this Two of Swords is really about, you do have a choice on some level, even if it's just like, stop giving your power away. And again, it doesn't have to be that you like what's going on, you condone it, you're happy. We don't have to do any of that. But this is just about, if nothing else, a hard time can teach us to be more loving and compassionate to ourselves. And I feel like this with the Justice right there, and you see Justice also has a sword, and then the scales of justice, right? The balance. This is about knowing that as long as your intentions are pure and you are showing up in the most loving, kind way possible to yourself, doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but your intention is there, that you will be rewarded for the way you show up for yourself right now. So how you talk to yourself, judge yourself, any of that when you're going through a hard time, being able to learn to do that kindly will serve you so much in life, despite whatever thing you think you lost or hardship you're going through. If you can learn to have a loving, kind, patient relationship with yourself when you're going through a hard time, instead of using that hard time as ammunition against yourself, that's such a gift you can give yourself. And it takes a lot of emotional maturity to do that. It takes a lot of willingness to move forward to be able to do that, right? But this is really about, justice. Just when we think about divine compensation, knowing that God knows what's in our hearts, God knows the ways we're showing up for ourselves, God knows when we see the choice to respect ourselves, to be kind to ourselves, right? So I think this is really saying, if you've been feeling really powerless in the situation, you can use this new moon energy to ask yourself, if I did feel really in control, what would I be doing? How would I feel like, I can show up to take care of myself? How would I feel like what is a loving thing I could do for myself right now? So remember, you do have a choice. You do have power, even on some level, if it's just to create your own story and just be like, I can't control these 8 million things, but I can choose to be kind to myself today. I can choose to know that this is the best I could do today, and I get to be nice to myself about it because of that. So again, this justice energy of just like, it's time for you to remember where your power is, and remember that you do have a choice, even if it's just controlling the way you speak to yourself and lightening up on yourself. And sometimes we go through a hard time, again, just to learn, like, can I be compassionate with myself even when I can't control when this thing I want happens, or when I get through this to the other side, or any of that. So the Justice, again, modern society has made us think justice from God is like, a test that we're going to pass or fail. But justice really can just be like, can you be kind to yourself? That's a form of justice, right? Because look, closing your reading, really nice. We have the Nine of Cups. So this is about wishes fulfilled. Again, with this Cups energy, this is about emotional fulfillment. So I feel like this is really saying you will have so much abundance when you get through this process of just like, wow, I didn't give up on myself. I told a story where I was kind and compassionate to myself. I took my time to really focus on telling a story to myself that was loving, that was understanding, that was patient. And just like, cups aren't so much about physical reality abundance. They're more about feeling like really emotionally fulfilled. So I think this is really saying with this new moon, if you can really commit to being kind and patient and understanding and feeling proud of yourself, then like no matter what comes next for you or the next trials you have to go through, this is really going to say if you have those cups that you can pour into yourself of just like understanding, patience, kindness, non-judgment, acceptance, right? That's going to serve you so much. And I feel like that's really what I'm seeing with this group 4 of just like, being really kind to yourself through this whole process. Okay, I'm going to look at your oracle cards. Okay, nothing will come of this situation. So I feel like if you've been trying to, if there's been something you've been letting go of because you're just like using it, you're like, oh no, maybe the replacement thing hasn't come yet. You got to let something go. Okay, so new moons are really about calling a new energy, not so much releasing, but like I said in the beginning, there has to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that for those things. So nothing will come of the situation. So if you've been trying to let something go, or if you have been, talking to yourself in a way that is not kind or not understanding, not patient, not loving, nothing will come of that if you keep doing that to yourself. So this is about releasing, letting things go, just a lot of stop. It's not going to help you if you are mean to yourself, right? Just being compassionate and loving to yourself is a great first step for everyone. And so we have jump in, Andromedan, I don't know how to say that, energy, adventure, say yes to change. So again, sometimes we can really, this is like really nice because there's an eyeball on it, but it's also the universe. So it's saying like, the deeper we go into ourselves, the more we can expand ourselves. And again, this big energy of contrast, this is like the same thing of like changes in the outside world can really encourage us to go deeper within and push us to get to that next layer of growth that again maybe we wouldn't choose for ourselves willingly, but it's part of our school curriculum. So I think if you are having been trouble letting things go, or just really being like, wow, why would this thing be happening to me, saying yes to change, allowing things to unfold in a way that you're like, all right, I'm open, I'm ready to the next thing, whatever's going to happen, let's see what it is. This is really affirming that and really encouraging you that it is time to move forward. It is time to, even if it's just energetically, it's time to really work on this relationship of being loving and kind to yourself is going to be really important for you right now. And then we have the guardian angel of youth. As I share my enthusiasm, humor, and sense of fun, I protect and honor my youthful spirit. So this reading, I will say, was pretty intense and really was about being nice to yourself and being kind to yourself. Part of that is honoring your inner child and doing play as an adult, if you're an adult watching this, or if I'm going to assume you're not a baby if you're watching this YouTube tarot reading. Okay, so I feel like any age that you could watch a YouTube tarot reading, you're at the age where you need to have some play in your life, your sense of fun. So it could just be that you go for a walk and you smile, you play a game with your friends, you do a coloring book, anything that just feels like fun and lighthearted, I think can also help you get through this time instead of just being like, I have to heal, I have to change this, I have to figure it out, right? Making time for play and fun and lightheartedness in our lives really can help us so much more than, boring ass adult life we're all socialized into can make us think. And then last, we have Nematona, sacred space. So create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. So if you're having a hard time, really creating your own story of kindness and compassion and care for yourself, this card is really saying create a power place so you can make an altar with flowers, or an oracle card that you like, or a picture you like, and go out in nature. I mean, anything that just feels like really peaceful and kind and straight from the divine. We all have certain things that we feel like really connected to God when they're near us. So if you're having a hard time writing that kind and compassionate story to yourself, this card is really saying if you, light a candle or burn some incense or just something while you're trying to, with this new moon, I think if you didn't get the prompt by now, it's about telling a new story for yourself, seeing the situation in a new way. A lot of times when I feel really stuck, I imagine like getting a letter from God or from my higher self, just being like, how is this a blessing in my life? And then I just like kind of let what comes through come through. So it could be, again, being kind to yourself, learning patience, like severing ego attachments I had. But so if you're having trouble connecting to that, if you can set up a space that feels holy, that feels special to you, just lighting a candle, lighting incense, looking at a pretty picture of nature, just something that can connect you to maybe some of that like Venusian, really kind energy might open up that space for you. Okay, and then last thing to close your reading group for is I'm just going to pick one of these affirmation cards. So let's see what final affirmation I'm going to close with for you on this lovely new moon, Scorpio. Acknowledging apprehension. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. So I feel like maybe, you heard some things I said in this video, or you feeling like, okay, well, this is how I should be feeling about myself, or this is how it should be unfolding. Only take what resonates for you, and only create the story that feels like it's right for you. Okay, so there's a difference between like, this doesn't resonate at all because it's not for me, or like I have a little bit of apprehension because maybe this isn't the story I have been telling, but part of me can still connect to a little bit. So this is really saying, trust what your body is pushing you towards, to what words feel good for your own healing, what words feel good for showing up for yourself, any and all of that. So when it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy new moon in Scorpio. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.